Greetings, community. It's Kevin of Entropy and Comics, and I'm here to share with you a monthly pre-order. Now, I also noticed that there is a whole bunch of people hanging out, waiting for the show to get on the road. So, one, I want to say hello to you, Sally. You're new to the channel, and I appreciate you. Las Cruces, slipping, buddy. Sally beat you. Have no idea how that happened. Just kidding. I always appreciate you, no matter when you show. And Buddy Spine Ticks, what up? Sith Lordy, Lady Sith, all you guys over there in the Spine Ticks land, I appreciate you. And Mad Mikes, dude, you the bomb. I appreciate you. I've been watching you attend a lot of these meets of late, and it does make me miss going to these tournaments and checking these people out. Really cool. It's really awesome that you're doing that. So keep doing it, man. You're making me jealous. I might start to have to work out again. Hey, being that everybody's here, might as well get into it, yeah? So let's try. First of all, I want to, again, make mention that I get this pre-order from DCBS. And I don't know if they're watching or whatever, but every month they've been kicking me down like another extra book. And they even reached out to me of late and said, hey, look, we have this particular book. If you get back to us under this notification, we'll go ahead and kick you down one. So I just want to say, hey, DCBS, I appreciate you. You guys have been doing a wonderful job. I know everyone's in a bind as far as transportation and everything else, and you guys have been doing a great job. Received this shipment 4 days faster than I normally do. So you guys are awesome. To the books. And Jay, whoa, hey. Thanks for being here, buddy. I appreciate you. And Two Gun. So are you kidding me? Full house. I know you guys want us to check out some books. I definitely got a lot. So sit back, relax, and let's do this. Ready? Godzilla Rivals. I really don't have to say much more. It's Godzilla. How could you go wrong with an old kaiju? The classic. The awesomeness. So this is Godzilla Rivals versus Untitled. Moving from the Godzilla land, going over to Philadelphia. Rodney Barnes has been killing it on this. A couple of years ago, my son and I, we did an interview with Rodney. And what I really enjoy, now that he's on issue 24, 2 years down, plus in the road, is how he's tying together all these classic monsters that you and I have grown up to, seen in different movies, read in different books, and tying it again to our history, which we were predominantly forced to learn. The fact that they end up twisting these two into a brilliant story not only remembers torturous pains of tests of yore, but it does it in such a brilliant manner. And we said it's a pleasure to read about our forefathers in a way we thought we never would enjoy. So that's why Philadelphia is just freaking awesome. If you haven't, go ahead and pick up a trade. Moving on from there, we have Sweet Paprika issue number 11 of 12. Now this starts off really as almost a calendar girl servicey type of show, or I should say, comic, but it really was meant to be an animation. Really. Mirka has really been trying to pitch this as a cartoon. Love to see it turn and such. It does get into some existential, basically tellings of an individual that was forced to contend with stuff that she really didn't want, especially when it comes to her family. So there's a lot of self-discovery in this book, and it's really cool. It's a lot more depth than you may imagine. So Sweet Paprika, I am looking forward to not only this issue, but the last issue, issue number 12. Moving on to Little Monsters. Little Monsters is a story of little vampires that have been around for a few hundred years. And they're trying to figure out how to deal with the life that they've been leading up to this point. Now, you also get wrapped into these little things. And what I mean by these little things is you're trying to disassociate the fact that they are vampires. But you get tied into the fact that you start having compassion. And the next thing you know, you're not thinking of them as vampires anymore. And that's the story of Little Monsters. It's freaking cool. This finishes up that arc. And I don't know if it's an ongoing series, but I do know it's going to be going on for the next 3 more issues. Yeah. Moving over to the closet, this finishes it out. Issue number 3. This closes out the closet. And this also has been slightly existential in a sense of what has been the story of this father and son relationship. It is very telling, and it's very common in that people are dismissive with just because of circumstances with their children at times in their lives. This not only plays heavily into that, but it also shows that how often we can allow our own imaginations to run wild, and in that allow some things to manifest. Is it real or is it not? Cool story. Can't wait to finish it out in issue number 3. Moving on over to Omni Press. Now this is called Blink. This was the FOC. If you order 10, you qualify type thing. Anyways, it's a story of an individual that, because of a particular circumstance that arises, is forced to recall that they don't have any recall of their past, of really any history of their life up to the point, a couple of years ago, which is really disturbing to this person that they don't have any recall of their youth. So after you've seen some little blips and images, this person is then jarred to some memory of images that they saw in the picture that ties into their own past. Very horrific. I'm looking forward to actually getting to this. It is a few issues into the series, and it seems very dark. So I'm looking, I've been really gravitating toward this horror book, so I'm totally getting into it. There we go. Now, this is a band that I've been listening to for the past, 25 years. Cradle of Filth is a horror gore kind of, I guess they're playing on a little bit of the scare tactics. They're a little bit of tied into the cult as far as the satanic panic type playing on. So anyways, the stories though that are tied into the music to this band are just freaking awesome, and it's many a times just short of poetry on what Danny Filth, the lead vocalist for the band, does with his lyrical content. He continuously, meaning Danny Filth, writes anthologies within the albums that he's doing. So it's very easy. I don't want to say easy. It's almost a no-brainer for a writer that's understanding of what Danny's trying to do, to take these type of stories and just move them over. It's just an adaptation. I don't think is very difficult for most writers that I've talked to that are either working with or appreciating the works of Cradle of Filth. Issue number 1. Been dying to get into this 5-issue miniseries, Cradle of Filth. If you're into that speed metal, thrash, hardcore stuff, recommend it. In Edge of Spider-Verse, issue number 1. Yes, I've read it. Went heavy on the ordering of it. Basically, the whole idea between Edge of Spider-Verse is it's a bunch of anthologies leading up to a major storyline that's going to culminate into part of the dark web and a Dan Slott story of another Spider-Man story of issue number 1 that then leads into End of Spider-Verse, which will also be a miniseries. So what that'll end up turning into, as far as what it translates to how the Spider-Verse will then go from there, I don't know. There is a lot that is vague to me on that aspect. From December on, I can't get anybody to talk. So I did read issue number 1. There's some cool stories. I got issue number 2 also here, and I haven't got to get into that. I'm dying to get into that because I know there's a Spider-Gwen story in there. It's pretty cool. So let me just finish out with showing you some Scotty Young on the issue number 1. And then we get to the blank cover of issue number 1. And then we move over to what I was making mention of, issue number 2, which is an introduction of a new Spider UK. And I have been hearing people talk about that. So this is what I'm dying to get into. And Venom number 9. Now this starts Venom 9, 10, and 11 are all big stories. We end up seeing in Venom number 9. I'm not ruining stuff, but Dylan's father plays a major role in what's going on as far as the injuries to Dylan and what's happening as far as the torture that Dylan is receiving, and he didn't know who the actual culprit was. A lot of that happens in here and moves on through 10 and 11, respectively, of the Venom series. So yeah, I went a little ahead. No, I've been basically buying 3 issues of all that Venom stuff. Speaking of buying 3 issues, Batman 126. How can you go wrong with this cover? Seriously. And being that I went a little heavy like that, looks like I'm gonna have to end up doing a giveaway pretty soon. In same, what should I say, mode and respect to paying to homage to Mr. Jigs of Jigs Kingdom. How often he gives out so many books. Gotta do something. Moving on over to the Hulk. This is finishing getting, this is I think the second to the last story of the Banner War, right? Pretty cool. Issue number 8. That's another one I've been. This is finalizing it to the Banner War. So we're a couple on the issue A's, and then I did a issue B, which is pretty cool. Jane Foster. I've been liking actually the Jane Foster story. Took me a little bit to figure out and get into, and then I was like, okay, I'm feeling it. I'm sure I'll end up pulling those books up in a bit. Moving over to Silver Coin. I've been double buying on this thing. I'm doing cover A, cover B on this. This is an anthology based on a silver coin, which is a cursed coin. And it has like a monkey paw style wish, meaning once you make the wish, it tends to work against you, not for you. Irony can be a bitch. And that is the whole idea behind silver coin. The beauty is there is a consistency of the art, meaning Walsh is doing the art all the way through. The cool thing about the writing is it's been changing up every issue, which there has been seemingly some, a minor amount of not full investment because you're only writing a certain story part. There is every 5 issues they talk about the actual coin. So every story, even though it's its own anthology and you can read it by itself, does ultimately lead to an understanding of what this coin is based on, how the curse came about, and you end up reading that, like I said, on issue 5, 10, and hopefully in issue 15 we'll get more depth than that. So it does lead like your some of the writing doesn't necessarily connect. It seems a little disconnected. However, the continuity overall has been really fun as far as not only the art, but the storytelling and understanding of what this curse is about. Moving on over to Usagi Jimbo. Issue number 30. After 2.5 years, this thing is just super consistent on being super good. I'm a Usagi Jimbo fan of long and of ago. It doesn't really matter. You can still pick this up almost at any point and just enjoy it for what it is. The art is consistent. The storytelling is consistent. It's just a fun journey. A lot of times there's philosophy thrown in there, and there is tie-ins to feudal Japan on what was transpiring during a time that is thrown into the story. So you have an understanding of some history of a feudal time period in Japanese time. Yeesh. Madballs versus Garbage Pail Kids. If you're an individual that grew up as a late teen-ish person or even early teen kid, whatever, you know Madballs, you know Garbage Pail Kids, and it brings you back to a stupid innocence that you just gravitate to and always adhere. That is why I'm just dying to jump into this book, because it takes me to a place of just pure stupidity that I thoroughly enjoy. So Madballs versus Garbage Pail Kids, if they do this forever, I'd keep buying it. But I think it's only 5 issues. True Call. Now, this was a Kickstarter, I guess a couple of years ago, by this group of individuals that were trying to get some interest in it and just getting the story out. IDW ended up picking up this book. They loved it. I'm dying to get into this thing. It's a story of an individual that's trying to pass a con / like robbery type situation, and it turns out to be with the wrong people. Again, tying into the cult thing, it's more of that satanic panic type thing. And these Satanists are not paying too kind to what this individual is trying to do. Firepower. Now, Firepower, Kirkman, dude, yeah, you're renowned for Walking Dead. Story's great. I watched it for years. Please, somebody. AMC, I don't care. HBO, please pick up Firepower. In this issue, we're getting the head of the household fighting this dragon, I'm sure. I have a hard time believing the rest of the family is not going to want to be in this battle. Everything has been leading up to a major battle that's happening here. My God, this has been so good. This is, to me, Kirkman's finest. It's him at his greatest. It's a beautiful balance of art, storytelling, action, depth of character as far as knowing who these people are and actually caring about them. It's just perfect. Perfect. Redman, issue number 2. This is brought to you by the individuals that end up bringing you Ultraman. And if you are, again, like I am of old, a follower and an individual that appreciates the old kaiju stories, this is a little bit more brutal. And that's where I want to go. This is updating a character that we all fell in love with and bring him into present day type of storytelling. Moving over to Draculina, issue number 5. Didn't realize that I didn't order issue number 3, and I was wondering why I couldn't understand what the hell was going on when I read 4. Now that I finally got issue 3, which I'm about to read 4, which thoroughly confused me. Can't wait to get into 5, which I have some understanding what the frick's going on. But I've been really loving this story. Yes, initially I bought it for the obvious. However, the story has been actually really fun. There's a lot of adventure going on. There's a lot of brain melting as far as who and what, and how and why. Now that I got it to grabbing issue number 3, I do have an understanding of what's been transpiring. So I am looking forward to really piecing it together. It's been fun. There's been a lot of adventure. And yes, there's been a lot of the obvious. All right, moving over to Twig. The far contrast, huh? Draculina over to Twig. This is, in my opinion, an all ages style book. I love the partner of Twig. I am a full fan of this book. I really want a plushie. I was told that all I had to do is get a banana peel. This is awesome. This is another. If Scotty decided to expand this beyond this, I wouldn't be disappointed at all. Twig is a great story that I believe that can be long running, multiple volumes, and I, in my opinion, would continue to buy it. Barbaric. Wow, I am really mixing it up. Is the real version of Sumerian modern day. Now, you give somebody, Sumerian, a barbarian, a cursed axe, and it has to do the right thing in the most brutal of ways. Are you kidding me? Sign me up. That's why in my opinion, this storyline, this character has been doing so well amongst so many people out there. Vault's killing it with picking up some good stories like this. And yeah, I will. There's another one of the stories. I will continue to pick this up as long as they keep putting it out. That's just who and how I am. Keep it coming. I hate this place. This is cover B. This is considered the explicit version. When reading this book, you get a true understanding of why they hate this place. This is a great story. The colors are very vibrant, and a story that's very dark. And in its dark telling, it's very vibrant. Now, all that seems like, wait, what kind of bullshit is he smoking? No, seriously. I know it sounds weird and ironic and it doesn't mesh. This story does mesh, along with the art, along how it's told, along how it's depicted. I really recommend this. I'm having so much fun that every time I end up picking up the issue, I keep forgetting because of the title. Oh yeah, I forgot how heavy the story is in this thing. Now, there was an obvious reason why I initially ended up picking this up. And after reading it, I was pleasantly surprised. This actually turned out to be a pretty good story. I was told by two of the people that read it that they just thought it was okay. So my expectations lowered. Maybe because of that, it actually exceeded. I really like the story. Story is basically a mild matter individual trying to do the right thing, has a decent personality, jovial, lighthearted, makes a deal with an entity that he didn't really think that he was doing. And when reality hits, and after a couple of centuries of dealing with what the frick, comes back to Earth and now has to make good on his deal. And the entity already knows that he is not going to make good on his deal. So this 5, maybe 6 issue miniseries is playing on a lot of tropes that I believe a lot of us have read. I just believe that the combination of all these things that we've read before are thrown in a bag, kind of shooken up and thrown in a way that is actually told pretty decent. The art is good. I enjoyed it. I've already read it. So I do recommend Entropy, not only as a channel, but as a book. All right, so we have finishing out. It doesn't finish out, does it? It keeps going, doesn't it? Yeah, issue number 5. So yeah, we're almost finishing out the art. And this has been a pretty good read. Finally have an understanding of what's going on with their main character. Finally have an understanding of what the shit has been growing on his freaking head. Finally have an understanding of why he doesn't have an understanding of what's been going on with him. That's shit on his head. So I'm really enjoying it. Now that I really have an understanding. It took 4.5 issues to really go, but I've been digging it. So the art's been cool. The storyline is finally tying it all together. So that means that if they're playing it and drawing it out this far, I guess I gotta wait till issue 9 until something hardcore starts happening. Maybe. I don't know. We'll see. I'm a Ghost Rider sucker, so I'll keep buying it. All right, here we go with. I got them slightly out of order, but here we go. Amazing Spider-Man issue number 6. I did have issue number 6, a couple of them, but I had them signed. I didn't want to open them up because these things are square-bound books. So once you kind of open these puppies up, well, you know. So I didn't want to crack my ones that I got signed. So I waited until I got my pre-order. Can't wait to get into these because then I can get into these. I've been behind on my Spider-Man, and I liked where it was leading on issue number 5. I was like, okay, that was cool. That was cool. So I've been dying. It's what, been 5 weeks? Something like that? Jigs, I'm sure you can back me up. Can you imagine waiting 5 weeks to read a Spider-Man story? Seriously. It sucks. Moving on. Golden Rage. When women are deemed either undesirable and or a little old, they're thrown onto an island. Sucky butt. And then they end up having to fend for themselves in the most gruesome of ways. It's kind of the Golden Girls mixed, all out Armageddon-y war amongst themselves. What is that? Just helter-skelter lifestyle. Yo. And I'm looking to get into this thing. When I was first reading, the summary teaser on this thing, I was like, this is me. So yeah, Golden Rage. Come on, Grandma. Slice her up. And then bake a cake. All right, so we got Strange, issue number 5. Yes, we do. But before that, we have Out of Order. No, you're out of order. Issue number 4. The reason why I doubled up on cover B is, yes, Moon Knight's brother's back. So, cover appearance. And then I got a cover B on that. So issue number 4, more than issue number 4, which I'm dying to read, obviously, but to get to issue number 5. Why? Well, we get to see Doctor Strange come back, I believe, in the most zombie-esque of ways. I want to see what happens. They're going to have to retake him out again. If they keep taking him out, at what point when he does come back, what is it going to look like? It'll be like Swiss cheese. And then what is it going to taste like? Yeah. I'm just saying. All right, so I am a huge Black Cat fan. I really like a lot of female-led Marvel characters. It's the writers that tend to write these storylines tend to do them justice. I appreciate that, predominantly speaking. So, issue number 2 of Iron Cat. Look at that. Isn't that cool? I'm just dying to get into these things. And not only issue number 2, but yes, issue number 3. I I say, when you do a monthly pre-order, you have to wait. You got to be patient. That's what it is. And it all pays off in the back end. Yeah, I said back end. I said pays for it. Also, Robin, issue number 16. This is going to be the second to last issue. This has been fun. It started out good. It got issue like 7 or something like that. I was like, yeah, and then it started picking back up after issue 11. I was like, wow, this is getting cool again. It's a nice dialogue. I see what's going on. So now we're getting close to issue number 17 and it ends the series. I can't believe I've been sniveling about what it's been doing. I've been enjoying it. Overall, as a story, I don't know why I was complaining. So, Robin, issue number 16, I am very much looking forward to get into. I am an Ant-Man fan. Say that 10 times fast. And the cool thing about the consistency of these covers is they're just going to give you a different Ant-Man, well, half. Or is it a wraparound? I don't think it's a wraparound. Of their outfits all the way through, which I think is a brilliant idea. I didn't think so. It would have been cool if it was a wraparound, wouldn't have been. So, yeah, I'm definitely getting all 5 issues, and I am so much looking forward to get into this. I know that, I think it was by issue 3, they're tying in some new character or stuff like that, or a character that they have, and I don't know, I'm hoping they bring back some of the characters that they did in the volume that they were writing back in 2018. Now, this Lethal Protector finalizes this story. I'm hoping that it actually finalizes it in the way of what the story's been doing. They've been nothing too serious, writing like they used to be back in the past when I grew up in the 90s. I'm not expecting a whole lot other than just a nice way to wrap up the story. So I'm looking forward to finishing out Lethal Protector number 5. Did I mention I'm a huge Ghost Rider fan? So Vengeance Forever, issue number 1, which is a one-shot, I definitely was, going to get. Not only get, I think I got a couple of them. I don't know. This is why I like doing giveaways. And moving over from the Ghost Rider thing, yeah. When they made the announcement that this character was coming back, I'm like, yeah, King of Spell. So I do believe that they not only explain how he comes back, why he comes back, but I think there's other characters going to end up coming back because of this character. I'm looking for this Marvel Universe to kind of come back full circle, bring in some of the older characters that used to, be around. And tell them in a good, classy way, not just to bring them back and sell a couple of books, number 1s. Canto issue number 2 finishes out this little mini. It was a 2-issue mini series that brings us into, I believe, the last story arc. And I'm looking to finalize this. I do have an issue number 2 along with the RI, but being that they were both signed, I just couldn't bring myself to open it up and read it. So I am such a signature slut that I can't open them up. I'm a poet and didn't know it. All right, here we go, the hollows. I can't wait to get into this. And I guess that's Sam Keith that ends up doing the art, which I was like, wow, I didn't realize that. I'm a huge Sam Keith fan, so I really like the art style. And yeah, I've been hearing good things about this, so I'm looking forward to get into this. Nice square bound book. Yeah, so cool. So cool. All right, moving on. I'm getting hung up. Image Anthology. 12 issues of a bunch of stories, a bunch of anthology stories. And this has been really cool because, and I hope they continue this beyond 12. I hope they, keep doing some version of this. Because, in my opinion, it's a good way to go ahead and try out new characters, new stories. And if they catch on, go ahead and launch new stories off of that. It's been awesome to be able to jump in and just get tidbits of all these little stories. It reminds me of when my father used to talk about pulp, fictions and pulp comics and things like that were just little throwaway items of just quick little stories. And those are fun. Those are really, really fun. I am I almost said it. I am a quick story kind of guy. So if I can get in and out of a story really fast, I dig that. Don't get me wrong. I don't mind being fully invested in a long story. It's just, I like that. I guess I like to fill my whole plate full of a bunch of little different flavors. All right, moving on. Last Shadowhawk. So I am a Shadowhawk fan. What it was when Image came around, I ended up hanging around all these guys. So I ended up getting all this type of stuff. So I had to relive my childhood by buying, a bunch of new Image stuff that they've been relaunching. And of course, being that they had this wraparound cover, I want to throw Comic Clear. Comic Clear is awesome. Comic Clear, the clear choice. That I had to throw one of these books in here. And that way, what this one is, it gives you all the covers that they've ever done for Shadowhawk, both past and present. So I was, yeah. Speaking of past, profit, back in the present. So I only end up getting the, as you see, blank cover on that. I don't know what the hell I was thinking. They sold out. I cannot believe they sold out of that book, like everywhere in town. I was shocked. I mentioned I was shocked. So here we go. Jane Foster, issue number 3. And I've been enjoying this. This has been a fun story. Issue number 1 was like, what the frick are you trying to do? I get that you're trying to hold me on to issue number 2, and you're doing some explaining, and I get all that type of stuff. It was really vague on how they were trying to hope that you would get just enough tidbits to carry you over to issue number 2. Luckily, I did issue number 2, and I was, I got you. So issue number 3, I am looking forward to jumping into. All right. Now, what's been awesome about doing this monthly pre-order is, I don't know if, like I said, if DCBS has been watching our shows or something, but they've been kicking me down with freebies. And they've been, like, adding in freebies more. So it used to be just one thing every once in a while, and then it was like 2 things. And this time I think they gave me 3 things. Sent me a notification and said, by the way, we wondering if you received this. I told them no. And they're like, okay, we'll send you one out. I'm like, what? So DCBS, you guys are freaking awesome. I will continue to be loyal as long as you continue to keep sending me free stuff. No, I'm kidding. Just keep sending me free stuff. No, I'm still loyal, no matter what. AWA, Lesser Evils. This is one of the things that gave me. This is a square-bound book, man. This thing's gnarly. I was thoroughly impressed that they sent me this huge AWA book. I was actually looking at the story because the summary I read on it just seemed really interesting. And I'm into this kind of style reading. So, yeah, I'm looking forward to not only reading this, but I want to give that thing away at some point. So speaking of AWA, and as I was mentioning, they're adding in so many things. This is New Think 1.0. They gave this to me. And then this was Absolution, issue number 1. Which I love this movie poster style homage. And that's everything. Seriously. Box is empty. I appreciate everybody that hung out with me. If there's anything there that you really like or any questions that you may have had, reach out to me. I don't mind talking to you about comic books. Love talking about comic books. And I love and appreciate the fact that you guys hung out with me all this show. It's been 33 minutes of nothing but joy, and I appreciate every single one of you that have either stopped by during the live and or goes back on the rewind. And that's pretty much it for me. Entropy. Thank you very much. You stay well. Bye.